Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, everyone. So good to see you. Welcome to day 2 of our 14 days to a healthy mind. Right, if you've joined us for the very first time today, my name is Grant Nash from Mindful Revolution. So good to be here with you today. And I always like to start these sessions by giving you a seriously heartfelt thank you, a genuine thank you. From my side to you, and then hopefully from you to yourself. And why I say thank you is because there are a million other things you could be doing right now, right? But you've chosen to take care of yourself. You've chosen to put yourself first. You've chosen to rock up for you today. And even if it is just for 30 minutes, or if you can only spend 10 minutes with us and then you have to rush off or whatever it is, you've chosen that 10 minutes, that 30 minutes on you. And that for me is such a beautiful thing, and a thing that you need to honor, and a thing that you need to appreciate, and just say thank you to yourself. So however you want to do that, you pat yourself on the back, you can give yourself some props, you can hold your heart, but thank you for pitching up for you. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's day 2 of our 14-day challenge to a healthy mind, and I actually want to start by going to the beach. I think we need to go to the beach today. And why we're doing this is to give ourselves an opportunity just to get off the hamster wheel, just to move away from the crazy that was your day. Yeah. And who doesn't like being on the beach, right? So as we step onto the beach, I want you to just take your shoes off and just make your way down to where the waves are crashing, and you can hear as the waves get louder and louder. And you just slowly walk down and put your feet into the waves for a moment and feel, you know, that first feeling when the waves sort of crash over onto your feet, right? It's a little bit cold, but it's a really nice feeling. And I want you to just stand there in the moment as your feet sort of sink into the sand. And I want you to take one deep sea breeze breath in, and one slow exhale. And another sea breeze breath in, and another slow exhale. And just take a moment to just listen to the breaking waves. And just be here, totally here. You know, it's such a gift that we give ourselves when we do this kind of stuff, to just be here. Doesn't it feel so cool? And we don't have to be anywhere else, right? We don't have to think about emails or worry about anything else except just being here right now. And so I'm going to keep quiet for a moment, and you can just enjoy the sound of the sea and just being here right now with yourself. Okay. All right, there we go. So why do we do that? Again, just to settle our minds, to settle our busy day, and to just move into a space where we can just take some moments for ourselves. So if you joined us yesterday, we spoke a little bit about what I like to call the cave person brain. And the cave person brain, or the mind, it's better described as the cave person mind, not the cave person brain, but the cave person mind. It's worried really about 4 things. It projects into the future moments where it's thinking about what's going to kill it, right? Listen to me, what's going to kill him or her, right? So what I mean by that is, as the cave person steps out of the cave, they're looking for the things that are going to kill them. They're on high alert. And we've brought this into 2021. So with this cave person mentality, we look into the future and we project fear. That's what we do. Hopelessness. Why? Because really, saber-toothed tigers and lions, right? Things that are going to kill us. And so we do that. We are not wired for this optimistic, hopeful look into the future. We're thinking of all the things that can kill us tomorrow and then making sure we try to avoid them. Okay, that's the cave person mind we're bringing in. We do the same about the past, right? When we think about the past, we don't think about the good things in the past. We don't think about the things that delighted us and that we enjoyed. We think about the things that were out to kill us. So we replay over and over and over again the woolly mammoth attack. Because why? Because that's going to help our brain remember how to get out of that situation. That's going to help our minds to get out of that situation. So when we are ruminating over the negative things, the things that were trying to kill us. Now we do the same in 2021. We bring that mind where we ruminate over things that have already been put to bed, but we'll overplay them over and over and over in our minds. And this is not healthy. This is not good for us, right? The next one is that we compare ourselves. Because why? Because cave people, we lived in tribes where to impress the tribe. Our tribe is now millions of people we can follow on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And when we were living in this tribe, we had to impress others. And why did we have to impress others? Because we needed to stay in the tribe. Because if they boot us out, then saber-toothed tigers can attack us quite easily compared to when we were in the tribe. So I'm being rather frivolous about this, but in reality, it's not so frivolous, right? What it is that we spend our life trying to impress others. We spend our life trying to compare ourselves to others. And that's a problem because right now, if I open up my Instagram account, I'm following Elon Musk, I'm following the Kardashians, maybe not. I'm following these particular types of people that I'm then comparing myself to, and all they are doing is showing me the good in their lives, the beautiful swimming pools and the beautiful abs, and not the problems. And so when I have problems or I don't have the swimming pool, I hold myself up to a space in which I can never be. And this is dangerous. This is not good for me. And then finally, the cave person in me likes to hoard things, right? Because the more food, the more water, the more weapons it had, the better off it was. And so now what I do is I hoard things. And by hoarding, what I mean is I give this thing more value than it actually has. I say that this thing is going to cause me happiness and keep me alive, but it doesn't. And so there is a beautiful saying by a guy called Johann Hari. He says, we've got what he calls junk values, materialistic values. He calls them junk values, right? And he says exactly that, is that we go and we give value to things again. And as things are important, absolutely, when we're giving them the value and we think that they can cause us happiness, just like our cave people did, because why they did cause us happiness, because they kept us alive back then, we make a mistake. So those are the 4 ways in which, a little recap of yesterday, of our cave person mind. And it's actually not fit for purpose in 2021. It's not fit for purpose. It doesn't work so well for us in 2021. Right now, I want you to consider for a moment what a fit for purpose mind could look like in 2021. So I want to take you to a scenario where you and your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your just a very close friend, if you're single, a very close friend, I want you to imagine that you are having an argument. Okay, you're having an argument. So they say something that's really painful and really hurtful. And then you go into full-on cave person mode. Okay, so what happens is cave person mode take over. You see this person as being life-threatening. They're now a saber-toothed tiger. So the saber-toothed tiger has arrived. And so what do? We react as if he or she are a saber-toothed tiger and they're trying to kill us. So we fire back straight out of the core of the pain that we're feeling right now. And we use that metaphorical arrow and that lands on our spouse or our girlfriend or our boyfriend. And then she or he shoots it back at us. And then we continue this war where we get out of control and we're strained and this relationship really, really does hurt at that moment. Now, a 2021 fit for purpose mind and brain has the ability maybe to recognize that we have a choice. We have a choice before that angry, or as soon as that angry statement comes our way, a mentally fit individual has the ability to pause and to respond in a way that they would like. Now, I'm not for one moment saying that it might not need you to be angry, but you get to choose that. So there is no cave person autopilot coming and saying, this is how you're going to react. This is life-threatening. Instead, you get to pause it and you get to say, hold on, this is how I am now going to react to this. So the 2021 brain and mind overrides the cave person, and we have the superpower to decide how we are going to relate to that situation. It's sort of like accessing the wisdom of hindsight in the present moment, right? Because if I act really angrily, she acts angrily, I act angrily, and we end up in big problems, groot probleme, big problems, right? So that was my best Afrikaans, by the way. I know we're speaking to a lot of friends in Namibia. I should try my German, but my German not so good. Okay, but big problems, big problems. Instead, could there have been a way where I could have reacted slightly differently, which would have allowed us not to go down that crazy road? Could I have done that? And if I have the ability to be able to choose that, isn't that cool? That's like a superpower, right? That's like a superpower. And so over the next 14 days, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to become mentally fitter. And we want to begin to grow this 2021 mind. This mind that allows us to interact in the world slightly differently, because this is not just one interaction with our spouse or our boyfriend or our girlfriend. This is an accumulative action that happens every day where we simply just respond to things, right? Or react to things. We just go, and it's on autopilot. And the cave person brain comes, and then we're fighting with this one, and then we're screaming at this one, and then we're on the phone to our bank, and then we're speaking to our insurer, and then this happens, and then we're upset that this happens, and all of this weight eventually builds on us where we begin to genuinely suffer the feelings of unhappiness, the feelings of depression, the feelings of anxiety. So can you imagine if we can be less responsive in these hundreds of times that happen, these hundreds of things that happen over the week? And as the example that we've just spoken about shows us, that when we choose how to respond, rather than this ping-ponging reaction, we can begin to shape our happiness. We can begin to shape a healthy mind, and then in turn, a healthy body. This is cool, right? This is cool. We can do this. So over the past decade, we've been really lucky because our scientists around the world have really thought to themselves, man, this brain and this mind, it seems to me like it's stuck back there. And is there a way in which we can pull it into 2021 and we can make it healthier? Like, can we do this? And so I'm so sort of like grateful for all the modern day science that has began to show us that we can. We absolutely can. I want to tell you about one study. It's a 2014 meta-analysis of at the time, most of the neuroimaging studies that were taking place around what the brain looks like with practitioners of the particular practice that me and you are going to practice with today. And so they wanted to see if there were any real morphological changes that were going on. Like, could they see an increase in gray matter? Could they have seen particular things that were happening in the brain? And they found it really interesting that the practices that we're going to do today and all the way to the end of the 14 days help grow 8 regions of the brain and help shrink particular regions of the brain that are not helpful. And really what's actually happening is the 8 that we are growing, literally physically growing, we're getting healthier. These are fit for purpose 2021 brains. And the parts we're shrinking, these are our reactive cave person brains. So what I'm saying to you is that we know unequivocally, according to science, that we have the ability to be able to grow particular parts of our brain that help us control awareness, memory, interspherical communication, emotional regulation. And so we can sometimes push that pause button and decide how we are going to react for the sake of our relationship, for the sake of the environment, for the sake of ourselves. We have the ability to do that. Now, this is I want to just state up front, right, that I am not a neuroscientist, and I'm going to oversimplify the brain in a massive way, and I apologize for that. I'm going to oversimplify the mind and its connection to the brain, and again, I apologize for that. But I'm going to sort of break it down really, really simply, right? Yesterday and today, we spoke about this cave person brain, right? And what we mean by that is really we're speaking about the limbic brain. And it's really run by the amygdala, which has got 2 little spheres at the back of our physical brain. And the amygdala, as well as the limbic brain, is in charge of the fight or flight, the freeze, the stress response, the am I safe? Do people want me? And these emotions live here, these heavy emotions. So this is the part of the brain that as I step out of the cave and I see the lion, boom, it goes into overdrive, right? And it takes over. And it absolutely takes over every other sphere because blood rushes to that part of the brain and that brain begins to control. And so when we are in that argument with our spouse and we're in what I would call that free flow of argument, Are we being controlled by that limbic brain? Yes, we are. The limbic brain shoots up and off we go, right? Fight or flight, baby. We're in it to win it, fight or flight. Am I safe? Do people want me? Are they here to kill me, etc., etc.? Then we have another part of the brain that we are particularly going to focus upon today, and that is our prefrontal cortex. That sits right here, and this is empathy, insight, response, flexibility, emotional regulation, body regulation, morality, intuition, good with communication, and our fear modulation. This gives us the ability to understand that our wife is not out to physically kill us. But by the time the limbic brain has taken over, by the time the amygdala has said, yes, she is, if we don't have a very strong prefrontal cortex, it just comes and it overrides that prefrontal cortex, right? It overrides the fear modulation. It overrides our ability to make rational, emotionally sound, empathetic, and insightful decisions. So what do we want to do? When we look at that little picture, we want to say to ourselves, hold on, is it not possible that we can grow the prefrontal cortex, and then we can just like park off the cave person for now? Now, I want to tell you that the cave person brain is very, very important. The limbic brain is very important, because when we do get into that situation that we need the fight or flight, and we have the ability, the prefrontal cortex says, yes, Grant, that is really a lion. Yes, it is now time to react, buddy. That limbic brain can just kick in. So we pay tribute and we love the limbic brain, but we want to grow the prefrontal cortex. That's what we want to do. Okay, so MRI, listen to me. MRI, that's a term. MRI, there we go, scans show that the practice me and you are about to do today, when people do it for 8 weeks, for approximately 20 to 25 minutes a day, the amygdala, the limbic brain, shrinks. True story. And this primal brain, as we've spoken about, this also overreacts to stress, right? So this begins to shrink, which is a really good thing. And the prefrontal cortex, that begins to grow. It becomes thicker, like physically thicker from this practice. So this is literally like going to the gym, because when you go to the gym, our muscles, they get bigger, right? And so what happens here when this practice we're about to do, it's literally growing the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, and it's shrinking the part that we don't need. The cave person, we're putting the cave person back in the cave for now. What's also happening is what they call functional connectivity between these two regions. And what happens here is that begins to change as well. So the connection between the amygdala and the rest of the brain gets weaker, and the connection between the prefrontal cortex gets stronger to the rest of the brain. And I must tell you that the scale of these changes correlates directly with the amount of time you train in this practice. So if you spend more time in this practice, you have the ability to recruit the higher order, the prefrontal cortex, and you begin to down-regulate the lower order brain activities. This can happen. This does happen. So the cave person, we diminish it, and the other one, we grow it. So Zig Ziglar, I love him, and he's got such a cool little quote. He says, mental training is like having a shower. You do it to get clean, but you can't do it once and expect to be clean forever. You have to shower daily. Now, this is the same as the gym. Let's use the gym analogy. So I'm one of those gymmers who go like once every 3 weeks or like twice, right? So what I say to myself is, okay, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get fit. So then, I'm at the gym on a Monday, sure. And then I'm at the gym on a Tuesday. And then the Wednesday, I can't have an excuse. And then Thursday comes by, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 weeks later, I've got to get fit. I go back to the gym. I do not get fitter. I just don't. I don't, because I do it once every 3 weeks. It doesn't work. It's like a shower, right? You can't just shower once every 3 weeks and expect to be clean. What I'm telling you is that this brain gym we're going to do today, you really want to try to get stuck into it. You really want to try to practice this every day. And I would encourage you to practice it for 5 minutes every day. That's it, 5 minutes. And then maybe you make it 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And maybe then you make it 5 minutes and 20 seconds the next day, or 5 minutes and 15 seconds the next day. And you slowly, incrementally just add to it, And you can find 5 minutes in your day. You can find 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 5 minutes and 20, until you build up to that 24-minute mark where they say, now we're hitting it, right? Now we're hitting it. So I've now convinced you, I hope, that brain gym is really good because it grows particular parts of the brain. But let's try one more time. So I'm going to act like, I don't know in Namibia if you have as aggressive gym salespeople as we do in South Africa. But if you walk into a mall in South Africa, they'll have a little setup where they're selling you gym memberships, right? And they'll come to you and they're these buff oaks. They look good, you know, and they'll come to you and they'll be like, sir, you need health. And you'll be like, yeah, I need health. And then they want to sign you up to the gym, right? So this happens in South Africa. I'm that guy. Okay, so I'm going to walk up to you now. I'm not so buff. I'm kind of scrawny. And I'm going to say to you, listen, here are the 7 reasons why I want you to do brain gym. Number 1, your ability to respond, not react. So that means that you're not necessarily going to go into that automatic response that then messes up your entire life, right? That autopilot that just goes. Instead, you have the ability to maybe stop. Maybe I'm not going to react to this. Maybe I'm going to respond slightly differently to my wife today. Maybe I'm going to respond slightly differently to my boss. And when I do, good stuff happen. Number 2, it improves your cognitive function. So friends, you're better at focusing, at processing. Literally, you're upgrading this bad boy like you would your computer. Speed, memory, concentration, time management, communication, all has a positive impact on all of that. Personally and professionally, you're upgrading the hardware. You're upgrading the hardware. This number 3, it increases your positive emotions. In other words, your optimism. You feel mentally better through this practice. Number 4, you have more confidence. Who doesn't want more confidence? I want confidence like that dude who walks up to you, that buff dude in the gym, right? That's what I want. Okay, so more confidence. Then number, where are we? 5, 6, you see this memory thing. Ability to develop positive habits in all of your life. So if I want to get better at going to gym, I need to practice this thing. In other words, what happens is we begin to get self-efficient, we begin to get more mindful, time management becomes better, we can improve our ability to build healthy habits as well. And then number 6, it improves our sleep. Sleep, so important to us. We can prove scientifically that people who do this practice are better at sleeping, and finally, better for your actual health. And we're going to go into why that is. But the mind is attached to the body, is attached to the brain. And we know for a fact that when we do this kind of training, when we upgrade the hardware, it does something to our physical bodies. And we know that. So I'm hoping that as that guy comes to you and says, do you want to sign my gym contract? I hope that my 7 things would convince you to join the gym, the brain gym. And that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to go to brain gym. All right, you ready? You ready? I don't know if you remember, I was trying to get it today, but I thought to myself, maybe Namibians, you didn't have this. We used to have something called body beat. Let that perfect beat, boy. Let that perfect beat, boy. When I was growing up, it was on South African Broadcasting Corporation Channel 1. Let that perfect beat, boy. But then I thought it would be done to play it for you because maybe you're from Namibia and you didn't have it. And so that would be silly. And so that whole little anecdote doesn't make much sense to you. I apologize. But what I wanted to say is we are now moving to the brain gym. Okay, we're moving to the brain gym. So let's get into the brain gym. Let's put on our gym clothing. And I must tell you that it's probably the easiest gym you're ever going to do. What I want you to remember in this gym is one thing and one thing only. Some people might have taught you this before. You might have heard it before. But one of the things that we begin to do when we try to do this practice is we think that it's important for the mind not to move off the thing we are focused on. And that is 100% incorrect. The mind does not have the ability not to move. And let me tell you what we're doing here is, and excuse my guns, they're not very big. But if I just stand like this at the gym all day, am I going to get bigger guns? No. What do I need to do? I need to release the gun. And then what I need to do, I need to put it back. That was my biggest flex. Sorry. Okay. In other words, I build the muscle, not on the release, but on the pull. Not on the release, but on the pull. So what does this mean? The mind is going to wander. It's going to wander from the object that we are concentrating on. It's going to wander. And then what do? We smile and we invite the mind back. And in the process of bringing the mind back, we build the prefrontal cortex. It is in the letting the mind go and bringing it back that we build the prefrontal cortex. Don't worry about if the mind veers off the thing we're focused on. Instead, simply bring it back. The key, the training, the gym is in the bringing it back. And so smile when you realize that you've lost it. Smile when you realize that you're not focused on the breath, and allow your attention to come back to the breath. That, friends, is the practice. Let's do this. I'm going to ask you to sit in a comfortable position for your body. It is recommended that we try to keep our back nice and straight. We do that for many reasons, but apparently it also helps the mind stay. What I like to do is I like to sit on a chair. I like to put my feet onto the ground, and then I like to move my back just off the back of the chair, and I like to keep my spine straight, and I like to imagine that I've got a string holding the top of my head up to the ceiling, right? There we go. And I want you to try to sit with that for a moment. I want you to drop the shoulders. I want you to take your hands and just rest them in your lap. You can put them on your knees, you can put them like this, or you can just put them in your lap, and I want you just to relax them. Just feel that comfortable weight as it falls onto the chair. Feel that comfortableness. There we go. You only have to sort of sit in this position for a few minutes, but make sure that it's comfortable. Cool? Excellent. Okay. Now I want you to gently allow your eyes to close. If it is more comfortable with your eyes open, then just try gently gazing to maybe the floor or something in front of you, maybe your desk, and just allow the eyes to relax and just rest in one spot. The idea is to minimize the distraction in this practice. So it is a good idea maybe just to close the eyes, and if you absolutely have to keep them open, just slightly hooded. And I want you to bring your awareness now to the breathing in your abdomen. What I mean by that is relax all the muscles in the abdomen and see if you can feel that natural rising and falling in the abdomen as you breathe in and out. Just imagine the body is breathing itself at this moment. From the navel around to the obliques, notice the movement of each breath. And let's just take a few deep breaths, just like this. Now I want you to move your awareness up to your chest. And as you inhale, I want you to tune into the expansion of the lungs and the rising of the chest. And as you exhale, I want you to feel the constriction and the movement. See if you can follow the breath from the very beginning of your inhalation to the very end of the exhalation. As the rib cage rises, as the chest rises, and then slowly falls. Could be a very subtle movement, could be a big movement if you've got big, strong lungs. But just try to feel the breath as it goes from the very beginning of the inhalation to the very end of the exhalation. Yeah. All right. Okay, now I want you to bring your attention to your nostrils. The feeling of the breath where it is the most subtle. Take a deep breath in right now. And as it presents to you, do you feel that little tickle at your nostrils, at your nose, as you breathe in? You may notice the breath is slightly warmer as it comes out, slightly cooler as it comes in. And just focus on the space where you feel the air coming into the nostrils, excuse me, and out of the nostrils. So those are the three spaces where we can rest our awareness on the body as it breathes. So this practice is to pick one of those spots and spend 5 minutes focused on the breath. And as the mind wanders away, smile, and bring it back to that space that you were focused on, be it the abdomen, the chest, or the nostrils. And continue to observe the breathing for a minute or two, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And as the mind wanders, bring the mind back. Let's wrap up this practice now by bringing our awareness into our daily lives. You can open up your eyes, you can wiggle your toes and move your fingers. And be in touch with this breath. This is brain gym, friends. This is all it is. This is brain gym. Try to do it 5 minutes a day. right? This is the building of the prefrontal cortex, the first brain gym that we're going into so that we can get that 2021 healthy mind. And so try this just for 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes in 1 second, 5 minutes in 2 the next day, 5 minutes in 3 the day after. And just focus on the breathing, watch the mind as it wanders and bring it back. It's in the watching the mind wandering and bring it back as we build brain gym. So brain gym was what we need to do for day 2. Tomorrow, our wonderful colleagues Rafilwe and Mark will be coming to you for day 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'll be back for day 7. So it's tomorrow, and then we're on Friday, and then we're back on Monday and Tuesday, and I think I'm back on Wednesday with you. So I can't wait to see you enjoy the practices with Rafilwe and Mark. They're going to help you build this fit for purpose mind, right? The one that we want to take into 2021. It's been lovely being with you this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I love the practice. Thank you for bringing your energy, and we'll see you pretty soon. Enjoy the practices while I'm away, and I'll see you next week. Enjoy your freeway and enjoy Mark. Cool. Till then, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.